John Narkamy,
Here.
Anastasia Pittman,
Present.
Terry Edwards,
Present.
Ida Gonzalez,
Here.
Nancy Fixico, Tamara Downey,
Here.
Leon Petit,
Here.
Joseph Billy,
Here.
Delois Harjo,
Here.
Karen Fulbright,
Here.
Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert,
Here.
Sina Yeslith, Ella Coleman,
Here.
Lottie Cootie, Shirley Watkins,
Here.
Tiffany Thomas,
Here.
Wayne Shaw,
Here.
Catherine McCoy,
Here.
Charlie Hill,
Here.
Tiffany Cully,
Here.
Danita Harjo,
Here.
Willis Dethridge, Desiree Emerton. Okay, 24 present, 3 absent.
24 present, 3 absent. With a count of 24 present and 3 absent, I declare that a quorum has been established and we are now in session. We're going to have the prayer and then we will appoint a temporary secretary for this meeting only. So do I have a volunteer to pray this evening? Mr. Edwards? Oh, okay, Stephanie, I seen her hand. Stephanie, go right ahead. We all stand, please. Thank you. Yeah, man. Okay, Miss Susie Harjo is willing to be the temporary secretary for this meeting as well. We have closed the candidacies in HR for council secretary candidates, so we do have an additional about 5 more, I believe, around 5 more candidates for council. So we will be having a council meeting to address that issue. Is there any objections for Susie to continue as the temporary secretary for the General Council of the Seminole Nation? Any objections? If there's no objections, then Susie, if you would, come and take your chair. And we do appreciate you taking that seat for the last few weeks that we've been without a permanent General Council secretary. Okay, reading of minutes of last meeting, that'd be taken up later. Unfinished business, none at this specific time. Reports of committees, there is none at this specific time as well. So we're into new business, which this meeting was basically called for the purpose of addressing the comprehensive budget and the entities' budgets as well. Representative Shaw. Can you tap your right? There you go. It's on now.
The executive office has been tasked with negotiating on the revision on the GRISO, also calling the meeting so we have our revision committee started. Also, we're not supposed to have something here on our. You said there were several other applicants for the secretarial spot that we were supposed to bring to the next meeting. This is the next meeting. So I'm gonna ask why we haven't seen any of those 3. And I know there's others sitting here that have questions under other business, but you passed over it, and I'm going back to other business. unfinished business. So if there's anybody else that's got something to say about the unfinished business, I would invite you to go ahead and say it now and not sit there and, be passed over. But I would like to have the answers on those three, on the Gristle, how far along are we on the negotiation, or counter offers, whatever it's called? And also on our revision, when will you be calling a meeting?
I think we discussed at the last council meeting that a revision committee would be called in October. We are still in September, even though it's very late in the month of September. So October will be when the revision committee will be called. I'll start the chairing of the meeting until the revision committee can select their officers for that specific meeting. So that's how we'll do that.
That's just kind of traditionally how we do it. Let the, administration seat until we seat our officers. But that's just tradition. We broke tradition and everything else. I don't see why we just can't go ahead and have a revision committee meeting. and
Because
go
that's
on
what we
without
discussed
you.
at the last council meeting, how we would conduct it, and that's how we're going to conduct it. We're going to call a revision committee in October, and I hope that the revision committee can select their officers at that time. As far as the Gristle Mansion negotiations, I did send out emails. I think that Cable One is the one that I sent it to, Representative Petit, back in early September. I did hear back from Representative Watkins on her availability. So just being available, all three of us at one time, and setting that up, then we can go forth. And what they're looking for, I believe, at this point on the Gristle Mansion is a counter offer by the Seminole Nation. So, and the third one was Council Secretary. Obviously, this particular one's on budgets, and that's going to be kind of the focal of tonight's meeting. We will do another special call meeting, invite those candidates for the council secretary, so that the general counsel can interview them as well. So thank you for those questions and those remarks. Okay, we're now under Representative Petit.
Yes, Chair. I think as regard to the Gristle Mansion, the counteroffer, I feel it'd be in the best interest of the nation if we were to have another appraisal made on currently of the property's condition, so that we would be prepared in the event that we present a counteroffer and they want to know how we arrived at our figure.
There's probably a couple of different appraisals that's out there. I think the last one that was done under Chief Chilcote's administration, and then there was several done prior to that. Obviously, they're old appraisals, and then when they were going to borrow additional funds, once that the Rural Business Development Grant came in, and the bistro and the commercial kitchen was to be built, and of course, that did not happen, but that's how they acquired that additional funding, I believe, if I remember correctly. Now, as far as another appraisal, I think what we have done in the past, with all the conversation that has taken place on this council floor on this particular issue, I still have recalled and reviewed some of those council meetings. So I would think probably when we meet, what we'll do is we'll take in consideration everything that the council has discussed up to this point on that particular Gristle Mansion sale, and then negotiate for the best possibility of the nation for that, to take the burden off the nation if all possible. If we do another appraisal, it's going to take it out a couple more weeks. We can do that. After October 1 into the new fiscal year, we can do that.
Well, I just feel like before we go in and make a counteroffer, I'm sure they're going to ask us how we arrived at our figure, and we need something to substantiate that amount. And like I said, I believe a current valuation would be more appropriate, given the stock market's changed and the housing market's changed, interest rates changed, which I'm sure is going to be affecting the current value of real estate.
It may affect the current value, but there's also, maybe we should include in that the neglect of the Gristle Mansion over the last 4 years, that made some of those things actually appear and happen. The mold, that had to be remediated, and just all the utilities turned off for extended period of time, just a lot of things. What we do know is that the nation has a certain amount that they owe, so we got to do our best to get as close to that as possible to get that thing paid off with appraisal or without an appraisal. But we can do that. Let's go ahead and go to the subject matter that's before us today, and that is the new business and the budgets. And we are on TR 2022-87, and this is introduced by the Finance Committee. So if someone from the Finance Committee wants to read and introduce it, get it on the floor, open for discussion, that would be.
Okay, TR 2022-87, Tribal Resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, approving the fiscal year 2023 proposed comprehensive budget and providing for appropriations. I make a motion to approve, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to approve by Representative Gonzalez, and it was seconded by Representative Dethridge. We're in open discussion right now. We do have with us today the Budget Officer, Ms. Marcia Billy. We do have the Chief of Staff with us, Russell Wind, as well. And is the Controller here yet? I think she was coming as well. I think she had a meeting prior to this, and she was coming on over. But they can help with answering some of the questions if you haven't. And of course, we have two members on the Tribal Council here that are on the Finance Committee. So we're on TR 2022-87. Perhaps someone from the Finance Committee can actually just share a little bit what may be different in this particular budget than the 22 budget. There's not a lot of difference, just little shades of that will be different.
I think that you will notice a difference in the salary is due to the COLA increase of 6%. That's one of the things that is different. There are some new positions that have been added to some of the programs in which the job descriptions have been evaluated.
Excuse me, Ms. Coleman, can you kind of point that mic towards you? Your voice is very soft tonight. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little better. And turn her up, guys, if you could.
Okay, like I said, that I believe that the difference between this and the last budget is that there's an increase in the salaries and wages due to the 6% COLA increase. There are some new positions that have been proposed by the some of the programs, and there are some positions that were inactive during the last administration that has been brought forward through the Fiscal Services Department. There's increases in some of the travel due to the mandatory training and conferences that some of our programs have to attend in accordance with their program objectives, accordance to the scope of their work and the credentials that are required to keep a continuing education. Ms. Gonzalez, can you think of other things that attribute to the changes in the budgets in addition to what I have just stated?
I think you covered most of it. I do know that we do have a lot of new directors, and this budget was a little trying. We reviewed some of the budgets 2 and sometimes 3 times before they were approved. We had our new budget officer who, if you notice how well your budgets are, it's fully transparent. You have your salaries in the back. You have all the listings of all the totals of all the federal funds, et cetera, in the front. So I think this is one of the best prepared budgets that we've seen in a long time. So that's basically what I have to say.
I saw Representative Pittman and then Representative Petit. Yes, it's on now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, President. My concern for our council representatives is that this was such a comprehensive budget. It's over 300 pages. And as they were given this, they didn't have an opportunity to ask questions about this proposal before it came to the table, before the recommendation from the Finance Committee. And so, with that being said, my concern is that they don't have the expertise that you do, that you have. And so when you're looking at comprehensive budgets and we're dealing with federal dollars, the concern is that we're going to be voting on things that have changed, but we didn't really have a clear understanding of what all is included in the budget as far as the departments and those things. Because it's so comprehensive, I think we should give our members an opportunity to review it. And we do have a financial meeting scheduled for tomorrow, but 300 pages is a lot to digest. I mean, we don't do that in the legislature. We get enough time to ask questions, and the Finance Committee has been meeting periodically, but there's been no reports given to the council for us to take back to our bands to have this discussion on such a comprehensive budget. So my recommendation would be that you table this and that you give us an opportunity to ask questions, review it, attend the Finance Committee meeting tomorrow so that we can discuss it thoroughly, so that each band has an opportunity, each representative has an opportunity to go back and talk to our band members. Because we thought this was going to be proposed. When we asked the last meeting, we wanted to see more information. We asked for more information. We haven't received it, and we needed at least 10 days.
Representative Pittman, you're on the Finance Committee.
Yes, and I'll be there tomorrow.
Are you
Yes.
attending the Finance Committees?
Yes, I was, my computer had to be reset, and so all the emails that were being sent to me were not being received. So
And I know you bring up things because your affiliation with the state.
Yes.
And I know the state
Yes.
has certain processes and protocols that they follow, and that's well taken and understood here. This will here be the Seminole Nation
Right,
of
that's
Oklahoma. And the Constitution says that the council will help prepare the budget. And can you tell me, how do you think that preparation of how the council prepares the budget is done in this nation? It's done by the code of law, which is Title 14 and has the budget process. It also has the Finance Committee that is involved in it. Many, many hours have gone into this, and I realize it is a big document. It is a large document. Most of the federal programs do not change from year to year. Maybe a little increase, $30, $50 here, whatever it might be. Some of them even decrease. So the federal programs are basically the same. We are very limited across the board in general funds or general revenues. We only get our general revenues from very few resources that is declared by the Certified Revenue Report that is done in the month of April and then delivered to the council in May, which it was. So the council would have received that. But I understand and I take your statements with respect.
I still made a motion to table the document. And I would ask for a second.
I'll second.
There's a motion to table the TR 2022-87, which is the comprehensive budget, Seminole Nation, and there's a second by Representative Downey. secretary. This is a motion to table the comprehensive budget, TR 2022-87.
Yes. Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narkemy,
No.
Rena Tiger,
No.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez,
No.
Nancy Fixico, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Pete,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
No.
Ann Bora,
No.
Stephanie Lambert. You say no? Lottie Cootie, Lottie Cootie,
Motion table.
Ella Coleman, Shirley Watkins, Tiffany Thomas, Wayne Shaw, Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill, Tiffany Cully, Danita Harjo, Willis Dethridge, Desiree Emerton. Fifteen yes, 10 no, no abstentions.
15 yes, 10 no, and no extensions to table TR 2022-87. I declare that particular measure to have been tabled. It's not going to be up to Representative Pittman when this is brought back. It's going to be up for the chair to call a special call meeting to address this issue. And I will say this, we had a chance to pass federal budgets in this, and that is the standard of the tribal council of the Seminole Nation, and we overlooked that. I want to say that. I want to make that a point from the chair. We're on to the next measure, and didn't even consider to do a continuous of the 22 budget. That's irresponsibility, this council. Okay, TR 2022-88. This is the Division of Commerce, and we do have representatives from the SENDOC here. If they could come up here. There's been a motion and a second, so it's on the floor for discussion. Good evening. Yes, sir.
They're supposed to give us a document to negotiate with IHS in October, and then it will be dependent on them to accept our proposal. And I anticipate probably anywhere from a year to a year and a half after that. We sell them in the convenience stores, and we just got them approved for all the kiosks in the Army. We sell them in the convenience stores. They're selling pretty well in the convenience stores, and we just got approved to sell them in the kiosks in the U.S. Army. Yes, sir. Right. Our intention was to just build it as soon as we got our, got finances in place, but it seems like it's kind of turned into a bigger event, and they're wanting to kind of master plan the entire, I guess it's 40 acres or 80 acres or something like that. So we have got our plan in place. I think the intention is to move it down towards the corner, but at this point, we're just kind of waiting on the master plan. You're welcome.
Representative Shaw and then Representative from the Mexican band, Representative Lambert after Representative Shaw.
Barely.
I think it's on, Representative Shaw. I see the red light.
Correct. I mean, if it's up to us, we'll start building, right away. But again, it seems like it's kind of got engulfed in this whole master plan, and, that's kind of beyond our control. I'm not holding it back. SINDOC is not holding it back. Yeah. I mean, once that store was downsized, SINDOC lost $100,000 a month in revenue. So believe me, we want to rebuild it and recapture that revenue. Well, I'll certainly put it up to my board to kind of separate ourselves from the master plan and get going on it. We've got to put new pumps anyway. We're just waiting on somebody to say go. As far as aquaponics, again, I don't have an update on that. I think we're still waiting on the final insurance check. I think we are waiting on Mr. Caben Smallwood to give us an estimate to rebuild. And Mr. Smallwood is also kind of offering to use his crew to help rebuild. Again, we've got to move the thing to somewhere where the water quality is better than what we've got at Seminole.
I believe that'll be up to the administration. I mean, we'll move it.
I'm going to inject a little bit of knowledge that obviously everybody's forgetting here. The original grant was for $199,000. We have a council representative sitting on this council right now that was a part of writing that grant. The original grant was supposed to have it here at the Miccosukee Mission, and it was supposed to be a polycarbonated greenhouse and environmentally controlled, a state-of-the-art. And since it was your band that told me when I said, CINDOC's not supposed to handle this, according to a council resolution. Oh yeah, they're taking over it. They're taking it over it. And that was under the last administration. They took over that thing, knowing that the location was bad, because many of us told them it was, that the water is not going to be quality enough to be able to take care of that. And we were blessed enough that the tornado came through, and now they're going to get insurance money. And originally, it was supposed to be out here at the Miccosukee Mission. So there was changes at the administration level that handed it over to CINDOC, who probably really didn't really want it, but they took it because it was forced up on them at that time. So, and if you remember right, you know, being on the council 3 or 4 years, if you remember right, I was on the council for a long period of time too. Whenever we had Carlos Worldwide come in here and was a part of the nation's gaming entities, we were supposed to get a new convenience store out there at the River Mist back at that time. That was one of the arrangements with that particular entity, or the Carlos Worldwide, when they came among the Seminoles. They were supposed to build us a brand new, larger convenience store back 20 years ago. So. I'm not debating the issue, I'm making comments. He doesn't know the history. He doesn't know the history. Let's stay on the budget with the Division of Commerce. That's where we're supposed to be at anyway. It's on the budget. You better know I know that as well. But I'm not debating with anybody. I'm just clarifying. Any questions pertaining to the budget to the Division of Commerce? Oh, Stephanie was next, I believe. Representative Shaw, did you yield the floor? Okay, thank you, Representative Shaw. Representative Lambert, and then I've seen your hand as well, Representative Narkemy.
Seminole Nation Services? Yes. So we've got a new director in there, and the board has tasked him with putting together a business plan and delivering it at the next board meeting, which will be, I think, middle of October. We have taken the Tanka bar and put it underneath Seminole Nation Services. So between that and the janitorial supplies, we hope that'll get going at some point. Convenience stores, we have done quite a bit of work in Trading Post, renovating it. We're going to start renovating Travel Plaza, and then River Mist will be rebuilt. That we're saving that for last. We're also working on cost of goods sold. We're trying to get cost of goods sold down to somewhere below 85%. Which it's been 92% since I've been here. So these last couple of months, we've started showing some improvement, and a lot of it has to do with doing budget more accurately. We're pretty lean. I mean, we went through the winter with just a short staff, and it's hard to keep those stores running with a short staff. And we're paying them. They're getting probably the lowest wages in the area, and so we're struggling and doing the best we can. Yes. Yes.
I saw Representative Narkme's hand first, and then I'll come back to you. Representative Watkins.
However, I'm also being more open. To be honest, since I'm not going with vacation the last 2 years, so I would ask you as CEO if you can be able to please involve management, like wages until such time they can show the council that things are not going. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Narkame, I don't think I will keep a staff if I tried to do that. With inflation up 8% year over year, and our staff getting probably paid less than the staff at the complex do. And I haven't taken a pay raise in 4 years. I think, I'm going to have to decline.
Representative Watkins and then Representative Pittman.
I'm all for shutting it down or giving it away. That thing is just a money pit.
Thank you.
Representative Pittman, Fred's going around with a microphone. There's having technical difficulties with the
Thank you.
mics on the table. Is it on, Fred? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Just two quick questions.
Yes, ma'am.
How many FTEs do we have for SINDOC? And what is their salary?
Just send off?
Just SINDOC?
Okay, and not counting the convenience stores. I couldn't tell you how
Not
many we have
not
there.
counting the convenience
We
stores,
have
just SINDOC.
3 accountants, secretary, and myself, 5.
And what's the salary?
Do I need to disclose that publicly? Sorry. Okay. Most of the employees are somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 to $50,000 per year. I make $79,000 a year.
So you have 4 at 50K and you're almost at 80?
Yes.
And when can we expect the business plans or the proposals that SINDOC is proposing? Because the budget is relying upon the continuation of your salaries, but yet we have these concerns of lack of progress. And you may not be able to tell us because you mentioned earlier you're part of a bigger plan. If you separate from the bigger plan, does that increase production? And when will the council receive the business proposals of what you're attempting to do?
So we're putting most of the projects and new business under Seminole Nation Services. And that business plan should be developed next month. For the most part, CINDOC is just kind of a holding company. We do, we have the convenience stores and the real estate. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my concern is that we have payrolls continuing, and then we have these buckets or pockets of things that need to be discontinued that's also costing us funding, but yet we have no tangible blueprint of what CINDOC is proposing to do. All we have is what CINDOC needs to pay for it.
Okay, I do have a 5-year plan that I can make available to you.
That's what I'm looking for.
I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
I will send it to the chief secretary and have her distribute it. Just give me maybe a week or so to update it.
That's fine.
Okay.
I think 10 days is
Okay.
doable. I'm not making that suggestion, but I think it's unfair to present a budget to ask for the continuation of funds to continue, but we have no opportunity to check the boxes or even provide suggestions or solutions. And so I'm just hearing those things, but from what I read, to be prepared for this council doesn't give me this historical background, and it doesn't give me the projected proposals of what you're planning to do.
Sure.
Thank you.
Representative Lambert?
And volunteers to put it in partnership with Seminole State College, with their agricultural program. So it's, I say that you guys want to shut down, I mean, it doesn't need to shut down, it needs to be put back to its original, use and its original purpose. And I think it's not a way to move following the idea and producing our own food and kind of down to this money, and idea, and it's not meant to be that, and we're not looking for partners.
Okay, we're on the TR 2022-88, approving the Seminole Nation Division of Commerce FY 2023 budget. And there's a motion and second on the floor. Any more discussion? I heard someone say chair. Is that Representative Fulbright? You're Secretary? This is TR 2022-88.
Leetta Sampson. Anthony Conley.
No.
John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman.
No.
Terry Edwards.
No.
Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico. Tamara Downey.
Yeah. Yes.
Leon Pete.
Yes.
Joseph Billy.
Yes.
Dolores Sarjo.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie. What'd she say?
Yeah.
Okay. Ella Coleman.
Yes.
Shirley Watkins.
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Tiffany Cully,
Abstain.
Danita Harjo,
Abstain.
Willis Dethridge, Desiree Emerton, 19 yes, 4 no, and 2 abstentions.
With a count of 19 yes and 4 no and 2 abstentions,
Yes.
I declare that measure to have passed. That's TR 2022-88. TR 2022-89.
A tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the fiscal year 2023 Seminole Nation Gaming Agency budget and incorporation of said budget into the fiscal year 2023 comprehensive budget and authorizing an appropriation. I make a motion to approve, and I ask for a second.
Second.
There's a motion by Representative Gonzalez, seconded by Representative Coleman. It is on the floor for discussion. Do we have someone here from SNGA? If you would, just come up to the front here.
Hello. I'm Kim. I'm the office manager for SNGA.
I'm Leslie, I'm the HR manager.
Any questions for SNGA pertaining to their budget? Representative Pittman, unseen your hand, and then Representative Dethridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you give us what your annual budget was last year and tell us the difference between the requests for this year?
Yes, ma'am. Our annual budget for last year was a total of $2,077,801, and we are not asking for any more or less.
Representative Dethridge, same question. Ditto that question then. Any other questions for the gaming agency? No questions for the gaming agency. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Secretary, call the roll. This is TR 2022-89.
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nancy Pixico, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Pete,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Sarjo, Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie, Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Wayne Shaw,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Tiffany Cully,
Abstain.
Danita Harjo,
Abstain.
Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
Desiree Emerton. 23 yes, 0 no, 2 abstentions.
With a count of 23 yes, 0 no, and 2 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-89 to have passed. TR 2022-90.
a tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the fiscal year 2023 Seminole Nation Business and Corporate Regulatory Commission budget and incorporation of said budget in the fiscal year 2023 comprehensive budget and authorizing an appropriation. And I ask for a second. Second.
Motion by Representative Coleman, and there was a second, I heard it, but didn't recognize where it came from. Okay, Representative Gonzalez. So we're on TR 2022-90, and this is the Business Corporate Regulatory Commission, BCR. They are here if you have questions for them. If the representatives from the Regulatory Commission would come up to the front. There are a few questions from the General Counsel. There you are. Was you hiding behind that basketball goal? You were? Okay. All right, Representative Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two questions. Can you tell me how many businesses we have right now that are being regulated, that are functioning properly?
Syndox businesses, we have the 3 stores, plus their Seminole services and their Premier. And we regulate the wholesale tobacco companies. There's 2. And then we've issued an LLC to the Boys and Girls Club through housing.
Is it on?
Ron?
Yeah.
I'm just not holding it
There you
this
go.
way.
That sounds better.
So,
That was the conclusion of how many businesses. Can you tell me what the annual budget is to operate those?
their budgets, no, I cannot. They're on Syndox budget. But I do have the annual revenue was included in your packet for the BCR Commission's budget. Those are listed on there. One moment, sorry. We work together with the chief, Syndoc Gaming Enterprise. We have their finance review board that we met back in March. And we talk about projections for the coming year. And we all sign a letter, then that kicks off the whole budget cycle that goes to the finance committee. So what I've included in our budget that what we were told that tobacco fees, they're expecting to pay $32,000 in tobacco fees. Motor fuel rebate, we're estimating that it's going to be $692,280. Gaming fees, the gaming enterprise has estimated that it'll be $1,015,805. Motor vehicle registration, we're estimating $975,000. And Syndoc has estimated sales fees that they'll pay to us is $63,000. Although we collect all of that money, the funding for the BCR Commission, the land research program and land acquisition comes out of that motor vehicle, so that $975. So we have to make sure that there's enough in there with, I think there's about a wiggle room of about $12,000.
What's the difference between your budget last year and what you're asking for?
It's a flat budget. We have increased salaries to incorporate that cost of living that complex employees were given last year. But we've moved money around within the line items so that we don't increase that. Because like I said, there's very little wiggle room on because all that money comes out of one fund.
What's the current fund that it's coming from?
Motor vehicle registration.
The 975.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you didn't want to propose a budget that would increase you to 15K wiggle room instead of the flat rate of 12K?
We're limited to what we can estimate we collect. In 2020 and 2021, with all of the assistance from the federal government, registration for motor vehicles increased. But this last year, FY '22, it's not making what we projected because, as you know, the cars are harder to come by. And so, and the money that was given by Congress hasn't continued. So people are tightening up their budget, their purse strings. So, no, we're limited to what we collect out of that one fund.
So would it increase your budget if we expanded car tags to the Freedman bands?
I'm sure it would, but that's not a decision that BCR could make.
Thank you.
Any, Representative Petit?
Yes, could you bring us up to date on the severance tax and how that's going?
We've been working with the AG's office as directed in TR 2022-60 to look at income tax. In those conversations, we've also discussed other sources of taxes. Severance tax, we did send out letters in 2021, and we had one company that complied. They have since not renewed their license. Right now, we're looking at what's going to be the best route to go to collect fees. Because as you know, oil and gas companies have an unlimited revenue source to fight any battles that they have. So it's kind of in a holding pattern for now.
Okay, Representative Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you only project 1 year at a time? Do you not do a 5-year projection?
Not
for
at this time, no.
budgets? So we're just going annually, 1 year at a time? Have you seen a decrease in revenue in the last 5 years?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Representative Pittman?
Thank you. Do you have any additional proposals? Are there any businesses that you wish to bring in to increase revenue for?
What do you
Right now, you're regulating the businesses that we have, and you're meeting with the administration and CENDOC. Are there any conversations that say we want to pull in additional businesses to help increase our revenue? And if so, what would those businesses be?
I think before we get non-tribal entities licensed with us, there would be have to be a revision of that code. And we are working on updating the codes that pertain to the BCR. It's an ongoing project.
I think when she referenced working with the chief, it was for the certified revenue report that is governed by tribal law.
Yes.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
I have a question for you. So is that based on what they can and cannot do? Is that the reason why we needed to pass the grant opportunity so that we can expand and do business outside of our tribal entities? It was the grant proposal that we had last meeting that we didn't pass.
They had to do with the Division of Commerce, and I believe that was what they was wanting to be able to do, to have a LLC established so that they can go after other capital investors that may be willing to invest in business within the Seminole Nation. And then Mr. Gesses probably could answer that, but I'm pretty sure that was the gist of it, to give CENDOC that opportunity to be able to do that even more so than what they have now, because they have to do it 100% themselves right now. As with the LLC, they can go after other capital investors that may be interested in doing business with the Seminole Nation.
And because we lost that opportunity, we didn't.
No, it passed.
It did? Okay.
Yes, it passed.
Just wanted to make sure.
It was confirmed.
Thank you.
I had Representative Petit and Representative Sampson.
Yes, I think I finally found it. That 391-page report was pretty hard to digest in a small amount of time. But I was always concerned about, did the nation have what I call a benevolent fund? And I did find that y'all have some money available. That I think, does VCR, is that where, I think where like a family, a tribal member can get like 100, the family sell 200? Was that under y'all's budget?
No.
Okay. Like I said, I was about to go to sleep by the time I got through reading that thing, and I was thinking I made the note it was in y'all's area.
Representative Sampson?
Thank you, Chief. My question is, you said a few moments ago about non-tribal. So what tribes are you working with to gain more business through the BCR as well?
We're not working with tribes. We have tribal members that live within our reservation boundaries that have expressed interest in filing LLCs to start their own businesses.
Okay.
And those are currently what we issue LLCs for.
So if another tribe come up, say, this is just hindsight, say they want to do that with you in BCR, are you able to do that or work with that, or is that against regulation?
That wouldn't be with us. If they wanted to partner with the Seminole Nation, we would refer them to SINDOC.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Pittman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chief. Do you have a proposed date of when the codes will be revised that would allow us to do what you're needing us to do?
No, because we have one that we're bringing up, that we hope to bring up, but all we can do is suggest that say that we want to update a code, and we have, our board met today and voted to submit a resolution to revise one of the codes that pertain to BCR. And so we will be sending that to executive and the AG's office for consideration for a future meeting.
And the non-tribal businesses, will they be required to take Turo training from the Seminole Nation?
That's a completely different department, so I'm not sure. I would think that they would. Yeah, but we don't handle
I'm
Taro.
just trying to learn what the protocol would be
Yeah.
if these businesses wanted to come under the Seminole Nation and they're non-tribal. We'd like to see what the protocol would be, what the criteria would be for them to qualify. Thank you.
Any other questions for the BCR? We are on TR 2022-90, TR 2022-90. No further questions? Secretary, call the roll.
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nancy Fixico, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Pete,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie,
Yes.
Ella Coven,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Wayne Shaw,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Tiffany Cully, what'd she say? Tiffany Cully, Danita Harjo,
Abstain.
Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
23 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain.
With a count of 23 yes, 0 no, and 2 abstentions, I declare that TR 2022-90 has been approved. TR 2022-91,
A tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the fiscal year 2023 Seminole Nation Gaming Enterprise Budget and incorporation of said budget and the fiscal year 2023 comprehensive budget and authorizing an appropriation. Now I ask for a second.
Second.
a motion by Representative Coleman and seconded by Representative Gonzalez. We are on the floor, and if we have representatives from the Seminole Nation Gaming Enterprise, if you would come up to the front at this time. I saw Representative McCoy's and then Representative Shaw's hand. We'll go in that order.
Good evening.
Could you bring up some of the board members, please?
Oh, yes. For you, I know a lot of you, but my name is Billy Archer. I'm the Gaming Enterprise Manager at the moment. And we have two board members, Mr. Billy Shepard, Esquire, and Robin Miller.
Okay, so I'll direct my question to whoever the board or you could answer this.
Okay.
On your budget, I guess maybe under supplies or other operating costs, would the I-40 sign be in there in that budget? And what are the plans for that? I know that we have gone over this year after year after year. It's a gigantic sign. It's blacked out. It doesn't
Yeah.
work.
It's an eyesore.
So
We are, actually, that's not included in the budget.
It's not?
That's just an operating budget. So we're in the process of trying to put together, I don't know if I'm talking loud, I sound kind of loud. But we're in the process of trying to put together a capital expenditure plan over 5 years, 8 years, somewhere in there. But that's included in that. And we've talked to different companies, and right now the estimated costs are probably $400,000
to fix it,
to get, yes, to get it operational. Because the technology that's in there now, it's kind of outdated, and so it's almost starting over.
have you looked into what would it cost to just tear down that whole thing and put up a smaller one that actually works?
Oh,
Would it be cheaper than this $400,000?
I seriously doubt it, like the deconstruction of that and then actually putting up something else. You know, you're still, and the 400,000 is just to replace the technology, the billboard part of it, that's
Okay.
digital. So that's just basically making that operational.
But on this 5-year plan, what would be the anticipated date that you would like to see this sign operational? I don't want to have to ask you every quarter, how's
yeah.
it going? How's it going? I want to see
well,
progress.
With a lot of the getting parts and things like that, I think one of them, I don't remember, I sent the quotes to them, but I think one was probably 180 days before they can even get the parts in to even get started on it. So we're looking at probably 6 months.
Okay, I don't go into the I-40, I'll just admit it, I don't walk in there. So has the interior carpet been updated?
Yes, I've only been here for a few months, but since the last time I was here, yes, it has been up.
And it's being maintained, kept up, clean, all that stuff?
Yeah.
And then my last question would be on the snack bar, does that fall into this operating cost? Is there a working snack bar or a little bistro or whatever?
No. The only snack bar we have is at River Mist Casino in Kanawha. And that's been an issue with getting employees to staff it.
Okay, but are your intentions to bring
Yes.
some kind of food facility there? Whether it's a
Yes.
snack bar or maybe it's, like,
Yeah.
do you have any ideas? Is this part of the 5-year plan or?
Hopefully within the next, same with the sign, 6 months.
Next 6
9
months?
months. I mean, it's difficult.
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you, Billy.
Let's see. I said Representative McCoy and Representative Shaw, I think, in that order. Yeah.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Been hollering for the longest. River Mist. I live down there, and that's becoming an eyesore out there with that sign sitting up there. It's been out for 2 years. I've requested time and again, I don't care who sits in that office up there, they're ignoring that sign. And because I live down there and I hear people talk about when are those Seminoles gonna fix that? Well, I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's gonna cost $400,000 for a little piece of neon up there.
No, it really isn't. And I would rather lay out a plan where we can actually make everything really good rather than just Band-Aid it and just, I'm not sure how you feel about the colors and the aesthetic of River Mist, but I do not like it because all three facilities are different. And I would rather have them be more cohesive branded type aesthetic for the whole tribe. And so I would rather do it right than just do it to get it done. You know what I mean?
When are we gonna see it done right then?
Oh, well, I don't have any decision-making power anymore. That position I'm in, I got to put it off on them. All I can do is like, I need this done, and they have to be yes or no. So it's kind of I don't know, we have to lay out the plans and just stick to it and go through it. And we need cohesion as far as leadership and, continuity. I know we go through a lot of things and there's a lot of turnover. So once somebody else comes in, they have a different idea, and so they'll start something different. So as far as timelines go, I can't tell you 100%, and I apologize for that, Mr. Shaw.
Okay, the other question is, I'm reading this bill, TR 2022-91.
Yep.
And down here, and it says, whereas in addition to detailed budget attached are the estimated budget revenues, expenditures, and needed appropriation. Projected revenues, $24,633,532. Projected expenses and fines, that's where I want to know, where have we got fines?
We do not have any fines.
Then this shouldn't even been on here.
No, I don't know. I didn't write
We don't
the
have fines.
resolutions. No,
That need to be on here.
there are no fines.
But I want to let that be known that that's been paid off for quite a while. There are no fines. And, that's the reason that's one of the questions I had to ask.
Yeah.
Cause I was gonna ask, how much is the fine? That was my next question. And what are we doing about it? So, I'll yield the floor.
Thank you.
Representative Petit, I believe you had your hand up.
Okay, I think the SENDOC probably kind of stated a while ago about there's master plan down there in that area. Is that part of what your signage will be incorporated into that
Yeah.
correction then?
Yeah, and like, we're all fairly new as far as the board and myself. So as far as developing that, it takes a little bit of time. So it's the sign, the Wewoka facility, the River Mist sign, and the aesthetic there at River Mist. It's dirty and parking lots, things like that. Like, those are all things that are in consideration and that we need to address, and then prioritizing them so we can get them done in a manner that's more profitable for our investments.
Okay. And a couple of years back, and I don't believe this board was effective at the time, but there was the issue with the big bonuses placed down there on all that. Has the board taken some steps to correct that so that they can oversee that?
Yeah, the board wasn't there, I wasn't here, so like, we've heard about it in passing, and that's our gaming regulatory agency that actually has to regulate that. But yes, there is a bonus program, and it's more identified or defined by standards, like whether it's time in your position, like if a person's been there 5 years, this amount; if they've been there less than 6 months, this amount, that kind of thing. So, excuse me. But yes, that sort of thing moving forward will be addressed.
Okay.
And it'll be approved by the board, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I see 3 hands. Is it 3 or 2? Okay. I see Representative Watkins and then Representative Cootie, in that order.
Okay, you mentioned parking. Is parking in your budget? And the reason I ask is that when we had met, our band had met with the transit director, she may possibly be looking in the future for some projects that may entail parking.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if our transit director has reached out to one of the boards in possibly doing parking, because the River Mist Casino could really use some parking.
Yeah, that's when I refer to parking lot, it's usually River Mist. It's
It's
like
in
driving
really
to my
bad shape.
grandmother's house.
Yeah, it's in really bad shape.
But no, they have not reached out, but yes, and the parking lot is not on our budget. Like, we have we're trying to develop a separate capital expenditure plan. Our budget that we're trying to get passed today is more in an operational for this upcoming fiscal year. That's like the revenues and the expenses and the bottom line. So whatever we have left over that we don't have to give the chief is what we have to operate on for capital expenditures, like big projects like the sign and the parking lots, things like that. But no, we would be more than open to discuss projects like keeping things within the tribe.
Well, she had mentioned that maybe they possibly look for projects.
Yeah.
So that may possibly be something
Okay.
that,
Well, that's good. That's the first I've heard, or this is the first I've heard of that.
thank you.
Thanks.
Representative Cootie?
Is there any plan to fix the road from Highway 56 to Trading Post Casino?
Not sure about that.
That's actually on the inventory and the tip for transportation, correct? The 56 to the trading post, that goes up to the complex. Yes, that's actually in the plans, and hopefully those plans get updated. They're right there, aren't they, Rachel, the last time we spoke, I think. So yes, those are that's in the mix to get done.
Is there any plans to renovate the trailer or get it, at one time they said that they were going to.
The board is actively working to get something done for those temporary trailers that have been there for 30 years. But yes, they're actively working on trying to get something done. I think they worked with the executive office and they are actively moving so we can get something done, and it definitely needs it.
Representative Hill?
All right.
We had a CEO, CFO.
Yep. Yeah, it's called a gaming enterprise manager in our code of laws. Mine is, I'm not sure, 100 and something thousand. Yeah, that's not bad. That position's actually vacant, and it's a director of finance. No.
Then someone brought up about bonuses, okay?
Yeah.
Before we receive a bonus, person would justify the years they've been in, 6 years, 10 years, whatever it is, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes when we look at a person that's employed, no matter what position, no matter how many years they have put in, we have to look at what you call, what they produce, same thing, productivity, okay?
Yep.
Foundation, to receive a bonus, okay? I think what the problem with our nation is the fact that we are paying too many people more than they should be getting paid, and they're not doing as much as they should be doing, okay?
Yep.
That's the downfall. That includes the executive staff off, okay?
Yeah.
Sidekick over here. People saying it stands out there trying to advertise.
That big bird's nest.
Now, we've got a feather out there in front of your machine. That costs a little over $40,000, okay? Pretty, really nice and all that, and still works.
Somehow, I don't know what individual from big sign out there didn't work, okay? I guess the person ain't hearing me, which is good, but it ain't gonna work. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
You remember, they sold the lowest salary, $7. You get that free at commodities, okay?
I go to 5 Mile Corner. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I thought everybody knew. I know all the other Native nations know that the Seminole Nation has the lowest paid employees of any nation in the state of Oklahoma. Even those little tribal towns across the eastern boundary there. That's why a lot of our people we poured in decades of training work for other nations now. Representative McCoy.
Chair, can I just make a request? Woo-hoo, Chair.
I'm sorry?
Chair, can I just make a request?
Yeah.
The past, I think, at least the last quarterly meeting and the one before it, I have asked for Gaming Enterprise to be present. So since they are here tonight, would one of you guys be present for the quarterly meeting in December? Because I have questions that I'd like to ask, and it's not meant for the budget meeting. So could someone please be present at the December quarterly meeting?
Okay, thank you. There's no other questions for Representative Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you, we have this budget, we keep talking about apples and oranges because this is an operational budget.
Yes.
But we are interested in discussing
Long-term.
projects and what will generate revenue.
Yeah.
So is there a way for you to provide our members with an itemized budget? Because what we're voting on is a comprehensive budget. But if we had an itemized budget, then we could tell you what we want to prioritize and pass.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that is more of a discussion with me and the board and our internal leadership group, is identifying those and trying to find out how much capital expenditures we have to make. I mean, it may sound different, but it's two different things. Like you said, apples and oranges. So long-term plans and like this, like what we're trying to vote on today, is just for what we're going to do next fiscal year. So to answer your question, I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to discuss like a timeline and get those things approved by the board, because my authorization authority is way down here. And so I have to go ask mom and dad.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we have checks and balances.
Yeah.
But my concern is, and my concern is that you all have been in place less than 90 days, but we are projecting your salary for a whole year.
Yeah.
And there's no product.
Yeah,
So for me, that's not being fiscally responsible.
yeah,
I'm trusting my administration
Yeah.
when we approve this, but then there's no feedback, there's no follow-up and
Yeah.
for me, we look at itemized budgets,
Yep.
and we look at projected and proposed budgets for not just 1 year. We look at what you're gonna do in 5 years so we can start planning.
yeah,
Because some of the funds that we're receiving are going to end. And as we propose it annually, there will come a year that we don't have the funding to continue salaries, that we have no proposed
yeah.
projects that will bring us revenue. And so
Well,
federal dollars have to be matched.
the thing about gaming, it's always going to bring in revenue, and like and I don't want to bash previous executives, but we've had bad ones, and yet we've still provided for the tribe or to the tribe, probably not efficiently the way we should have. So that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to do this the correct way and build and grow and expand and do more for the tribe, because I know at some point we would like to be more self-sufficient as a tribe. So, and that's what our whole purpose is. Same with SINDOC. And so that's what we're here for. And we have a young lady up there that has a million years of experience in gaming, has run huge casinos. And so if we don't take advantage of this opportunity now, like it's going to be a bad thing. So I'll just say that.
I commend you.
Thank you very much.
Of all of the expertise that you're bringing to the table.
Definitely.
It just frightens me
Yeah.
to approve something and we don't even have an itemized budget.
Yeah.
We have the proposal.
Yeah.
And you've given us a number.
Yep.
And it's extremely large.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean,
in
our
the
budget,
future, we'd like to see that.
what we did is the budget is based it more on like where we're actually at right now. We did, because we're trying to do things more efficiently as far as marketing and slots and operational wise. And we have goals, like we have targets and things that we can actually hold employees accountable to. We have, and like, I don't want to get down in the weeds with it, but we have things that people can be held accountable to. So that's basically it. And where our budget is that we submitted is based on where we're at and what we want to do and the things that we think we can do based on the changes that we're trying to make. So, but yeah, I understand the long term. It is scary.
Well, and I'm not even opposed to getting rid of your old sign.
Yeah.
Because I understand transportation and how that works as far as advertising is concerned.
Yeah.
When you have a large sign, it's already grandfathered in.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to the city and say, we want a smaller sign.
Yeah.
But take the top part down until we can afford it.
Yeah.
So it's.
And we're in a good position financially, so we can do some projects. It's just more about us prioritizing, like, what's the biggest return on investment? Like, parking lots are the biggest return on investment there is, and that sounds kind of weird, but if you invest in your parking lot, the lighting and, you gotta create an environment where people feel safe. Like, I don't want to get out of my car and be scared. I want to get out and it's lit and, so those kind of things. And we're working on it, trying to get there.
And we want you to have everything that you need. We just would like to have more detailed information,
Yeah.
more itemized
Yeah.
salaries and expenditures. Because to me, an expenditure would be to fix the sign.
Yeah.
But yet it's not included.
No, it's not. I mean, that's totally something different because those funds wouldn't come out of our operational budget. So that's a total different plan, basically.
Thank you.
We have to give Chief his money before we can get that money to buy the sign.
Seminole Nation, tribal government. Gaming was created to support tribal government.
Definitely.
Very initial beginning.
Yep. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Representative Borba.
Call for question, please.
Okay, this is TR 2022-91. This is the tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the fiscal year 2023 Seminole Nation Gaming Enterprise Budget and incorporation of said budget and the fiscal year 2023 comprehensive budget and authorizing an appropriation. There's a motion and second. Secretary, call the roll.
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger, Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Harry Edwards,
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nancy Pixico, Tamara Downey,
No.
Leon Pete,
No.
Joseph Billy,
No.
Dolores Sargent,
No.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie,
Yes.
Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Wayne Shaw,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Tiffany Cully,
Abstain.
Danita Harjo,
Abstain.
Willis Dethridge,
Yes.
19 yes, 4 no, and 2 abstentions.
With a count of 19 yes and 4 no, 2 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-91 to have passed. TR 2022-92.
A tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the fiscal year 2023 Seminole Nation Business and Corporate Regulatory Commission Land Research Program budget and incorporation of said budget into fiscal year 2023 comprehensive budget and authorizing an appropriation, and I ask for a second. Second.
There was a motion by Representative Coleman, and the second came from Representative Gonzalez. I thought I heard a man's voice, though. I did. Okay, thank you, Mr. Petit. Okay, any discussion? This is Land Research is here, Ms. Danielle Atkinson. Any questions at this time? Ms. Atkinson. I don't see any hand. Well, there we are. Representative Pittman?
I have a question, Chief. I'm just trying to wait on the rest of
You're
the
fine.
council. I apologize.
You're fine.
I just believe the seriousness of budgets, and so I'm going to ask you the same questions that I've asked the previous request for budgets. What is your current budget? Is it projected for 1 year only? And do we have any proposed programs of what we want to do with the land research program?
Okay, so to answer the first question, it's $244,349. It's a flat budget. There's no increase. What was the second question again?
I'm sorry, is it just annual? Or
Yes,
do you do a
yes,
projection?
it's year to year, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
everybody's probably.
Standard, yes.
Okay. And the last question was, do you have some proposals for the council to say, here's what we're currently doing with the land research programs, and here's what we want to do, and what the cost would be?
Okay, as far as here's what we're doing, those are provided in your quarterly reports when we have to report to council prior to your meeting. And then, of course, I attend every meeting that I need to, and I'm available to call on the floor at that time to answer any questions about what's going on currently or related to the report information furnished to you all. Outside of that, as far as future projects and expansions or inclusions, I mean, we actively participate in the meetings with the Attorney General and the BCR Commission and our attorney as far as where severance tax applies, because of course we're the ones doing the assessment on that severance, and income tax and business, because since post-McGirt, the exterior reservation boundary has become predominantly more important than it was previous to McGirt. And so we've kind of taken on a broader responsibility in that regard, to the extent that we testify in U.S. District Court now to be expert witnesses to describe that location in regards to where crimes may have been committed, things of that nature. So, I mean, we expand in that sense, and there probably will be more expansions in the future since McGirt, and we'll just do our best to keep up. And so far we have.
When's the last time you submitted a report to the council?
When was the last general council quarterly meeting?
For the September quarterly meeting.
So September, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to elaborate. Our long-term goal is to be working on a strategic plan on what taxes that we're going to be able to collect, what's going to be the fastest, simplest way. Our long-term goal is to collect oil and gas tax. As I said before, land research, BCR, and land acquisition come out of one pot of money. When land research was created 12 years ago, it was a temporary project. Back in 2016, it was made a full department. What our goal is to start collecting those oil and gas taxes and moving that budget to that severance, a portion of that fee, because that's the main work that she's going to be doing. And that also relieves the burden on that motor fuel, the motor vehicle revenue. Yes.
Yeah, the long-term goal is to be self-sufficient, self-financed, of course. That's the long-term goal.
What are the, oh, sorry.
Go right ahead.
What are the current revenues that's coming out of the 975 tax?
BCR operating account, the land research program, and the land acquisition, and those are all by code.
And what's the total amount that's leaving the 975?
The 975, I think there's about 12,000 left over, so that's 963. Don't make me do math. Quick math.
No, that's okay. I can do it. I just didn't know it was taking it all except for.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier that we have a little wiggle room, and I don't want to expand anymore. That's why it's important for land research and BCR to remain flat until we can relieve that burden on that revenue source.
Land research started as contractual work at one point, and obviously for IRS purposes, when you do a lot of work and the tribe's providing offices and providing desks and providing computers, all that, then they become employees, and they've done a splendid job in the position of land research. Now, I know one thing that I've requested of land research is to gather all of our land, because we have little pockets of land throughout the exterior boundaries of the reservation. So we want to be able to develop a land usage plan. We have land out there that could be utilized, if nothing else, to grow for a hay meadow. And you know how hard hay is hard to get right now, this year especially. So there's different things that we're going to take a look at as she's putting those maps. She makes beautiful maps as well out of her department. And signs. She made signs this year for Seminole Nation Days. Thank you. Representative Coleman.
One question. Can we add a golf course to the plan, the land usage plan?
I'm sorry.
Can we, when we make that plan,
She'll identify all those lands. Believe it or not, my junior high teacher, you know, Dana donated a lot of land actually to the Seminole Nation. That was very nice of her, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
I just wanted to make sure we include.
It'll always come back to the
Yeah,
council.
it'll come back.
When you're using land of the Seminole Nation, it has to come back here.
I would like to say that she she's involved with just about every project that comes through, anything that has to do with land, any roads that are being built. She consults on a lot of things, and by doing that in-house, that saves the nation a lot of money in consulting fees.
They can fly a drone right over your backyard and know exactly what you're doing anytime and any place. No, they do have a very nice drone. Yeah, you yield the floor. Representative Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Atkinson, would you please enlighten us on your objectives and efforts that you're putting forth into working on packages and placing our lands into trusts or restricted status in order to get our lands off the tax rolls, and we can go ahead and move on with some projects that we would like to do in the future?
Yes, so there's been a lot of changes at the Bureau internally with their internal protocol on what particular department oversees approval of certain stages, and it's a long, lengthy stage. As you are all aware, we've gotten the first tract owned by the Seminole Nation in fee status transferred into trust status. It's the Strahler Community Center, 10 acres Strahler Community Center. That's the first tract this tribe's put into trust in over 10 years. And there's really no reason for that. So we're formulating a streamlined approach from now on. When we purchase properties, we'll have that mindset of that end goal being to put it into trust status, and having that mindset makes us do things a little differently. And it should help us with a streamlined approach to get that result at a quicker pace get that approval at a quicker pace. And we have a great working relationship with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. That's something we didn't have prior to me being here. And we're able to check up on things, get honest answers now, and actually play a really pivotal and big part in getting those applications passed and approved. So we're looking forward to that. Of course, the executive office always has the decision on what gets applied into trust first. And so projects, ongoing projects that are being developed may play into not putting that particular project or parcel into trust because it may interfere with the current development. So we weigh all of those different things. We've already prepared a prioritization list for every single tract that the Seminole Nation owns, describing, the legal description, the tract size as far as acreage is concerned, whether it's been mortgaged, what the mortgage amount was, when the payoff date is associated or expected to be, a number of things to help the executive office prioritize what tracts should be looked at to put into trust status first. And so we have a couple of test cases that we think we're going to move forward with Chief's blessing, of course.
Those always require tribal resolution.
Absolutely. And so those will hit the floor, you guys will vote on those, and then we'll move forward with that as directed. But I think for the first time in a really long time, the Bureau has taken a look at how they do things internally, and we're able to sort of capitalize on that. And so we're looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Atkinson. I would like to, while I've got the floor, I would like to applaud you and Ms. Scott and the rest of the crew with BCR for all the things that you all have done and the use of your creativity and working together and thinking of ways to bring in revenues like the new tags that you'll have developed, designed and developed, and also your efforts in the land group too. So I just want to applaud both of you all. Having been a member of the Board of Commissioners, I just want to thank you too and the rest of the staff for all that you all have done and continue to do so for Seminole Nation. Whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
We have over a period of time had different ones that suggested things or recommended things over the course of years. It all comes together over a period of time to where it's at today. Now, when I looked at their budget, I said, y'all need a little more to do. Did I not, when I looked at your budget right there in the room? And what we did at that time, we worked with our procurement department, and we went ahead and assigned land research to start delving into the process of land in the trust. That's what they do. I mean, they're about land. They're about seeing the research that's there and the relationship they have with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. So I think it's a good transition. So we transitioned that out in this administration from procurement, where it has been for, decades, and moved it over to land research. And we think that streamlining is going to help us into getting more of our properties into trust status. I saw a hand over in this area. I think it was you, Representative Petit. Representative Petit.
Well, Representative Coleman stole my thunder, but I just wanted to let the council recognize the work that Danielle's put in, and she's worked tirelessly to gain an easement to this property down here south of Mission here. And I think that took a lot of work on her side to get that done. At least she knows where to look in a courthouse for. So, but I wanted to thank her personally for that kind of work to do that, because that was a cost saver to the nation. Trust me. Thank you.
I think that's one of the biggest easements in the county.
Representative Shaw.
That's very important before we dismiss. So I'm going to ask for it now, but I'm going to call for the question at this time.
Okay, this is TR 2022-92, Tribal Resolution of Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the fiscal year 2023 Seminole Nation Business and Corporate Regulatory Commission Land Research Program budget and an incorporation of said budget into the fiscal year 2023 comprehensive budget and authorizing an appropriation. Question here, all these resolutions are incorporating into the comprehensive budget. Do they go into effect at the time that the comprehensive budget is approved? Council don't have any. Okay. Secretary?
Leetta Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nancy Pixico, Demara Downing,
Yes.
Leon Pete,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Sarjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie,
Yes.
Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Wayne Shaw,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Tiffany Cully,
Abstain.
Danita Harjo,
Abstain.
Willis Deathridge,
Yes.
23 yes, 0 no, 2 abstentions.
With a count of 23 yes and 0 no and 2 abstentions, I declare TR 2022-92 to have passed. Is a continuation of meeting in consideration, Representative Fulbright?
Yes, Chair. I'd like to propose a verbal resolution for a continuation of the budget at the 2022 level, comprehensive budget, since we didn't pass it.
This is for a continuation, 20, at 22 levels for the budget. With a second by Representative Borba. Any questions to this? This is one thing I think probably before the table of the 23 comprehensive budget that probably wasn't thought of. Well, I don't know if it was thought of or if it just was overlooked. Okay, we got a motion and a second for a continuation. We have done these things in the past over the years. Does anyone have any questions? Do you want to ask the Attorney General any questions, whether this is allowable and that type of thing? It is. I mean, we've done it in the past. Any questions for the AG on this? It's not the 23 comprehensive budget, it's a continuation.
Yes. We just simply want to make sure that the Attorney General has an opportunity to give us the total amount of the budget that we'll be voting on for the continuation, so that we'll know the cost.
The budget officer would have that.
Yeah. I think we need to clarify that. So, are we passing a continuation until the 2023 comprehensive budget is passed? Or are we passing a month-to-month budget? Or are we passing 1/12 of last year's budget right now and monthly until the 2023 comprehensive is passed? Is that what the motion on the floor is? Because I believe we need clarification, or this, you've approved, as the chairman said, you've approved other budgets that are part of the comprehensive budget, and if we do not have a budget going forward, we do not have a budget going forward.
Correct. Chair, I don't know what date we're going to we have set to do this, or where we're going to have to, how long we're going to have to do the continuation. Or should we just do
to the quarterly, or?
No.
I don't think it needs to go to the quarterly myself, because we have all these other budgets.
I think, if everyone has access to the portal, this budget has been on the portal for 2 weeks as of tonight. So it's not like it just
Chair, I
popped up.
agree with you. I mean, we have to do our homework. I mean, before we come to the meetings. And all those questions and statements, I mean, they're in the
Let's
big
get
binder
back,
here.
Representative Fulbright, I understand, but let's kind of gear this motion according to the AG's suggestion, where it should be. Either a 112. I look to have budget, another meeting around the October 15th date. We need to address a couple of other issues in the nation that deal with housing. They have to have a resolution in to be able, by the 24th of October. So I look at the 15th as to be another meeting. We can address the council secretary interviews at that time. I think everyone would have had additional time to look at the comprehensive budget, and I would think we can make any adjustments at that time too, if there are any suggestions on the adjustments of the budget. So I look at that period of time, enough time to look at the issues that is at hand, and plus those things that housing has brought to my attention as well. Representative Shaw?
This is not the first time this happened. These budgets should have been in our hands before the September quarterly meeting, that y'all all, as council representatives, should know. But this is not the first time that we've passed a 1/12 budget. So I would be willing to go a 1/12 budget with that meeting. I want it to go back to my people. Y'all can do what y'all want to do, but I'm talking about, I want this to go for my band to look at. And I'm sure, because I want to give ample time to myself and y'all. I'm not a speed reader. I'm not an auditor. I have a hard time doing 2 and 2 1,000 times. That's what you're looking at. So we need to, like I said, let it go back. I would like to amend whatever Ms. Fulbright said, to approve a 1/12 budget pending the next meeting. If we have to do it again, we can do it again at that time.
We did a 1/12 budget in the past simply because at one point we were on sanctions and we were forced to do 1/12 budgets.
Well, we're kind of forced to do that now. But if we spend in our hands in September, 1st of September or before the quarterly meeting, we wouldn't have to be doing this. So I'm going to have to throw that off on the administration and the finance committee for not holding it to a higher standard to bring these forward. So therefore, I'll go along with if she will accept that amendment to pass a 1/12 amendment to her previous proposal. And I ask for a second on that.
You second that, Representative Watkins?
Oh, well,
Whatever the language should be there, if it's 1/12, that gives us, a month.
that gives us 1 month. We should be able to, I think I can read, maybe by then I'll have read at least half of it.
We have to come back with another council meeting before the 24th of October, as I stated, for housing.
She didn't say a council meeting. She said
Yeah, so we'll probably do the council meeting on the 15th, most likely. That's the most logical time period to do it.
whatever, just long as.
Yeah, Representative Watkins? Representative Watkins?
Did Ms. Duvall come up with the amount of the 112? I seen her figure.
I thought someone over that way had the budget for 2022.
Well, budget officer.
Budget officer.
I was curious of what the total was going to be.
Who's got the? Okay.
They're just asking for the total of the 22 budget. Just give her your microphone.
For the FY '22 cumulative total, for the entire year, it's 50,449, no, $50,449,872.
That has to be with all the entities.
Yeah.
Just explain it to them.
Well, that includes the other ones that were passed today. So the federal and the general fund, 15,486,780.
Is that the 12th? That's the 12th budget?
No, that's the whole year budget.
It'd be over $150,000, wouldn't it?
So you gave us two amounts. So the 50 million is the budget for the whole year?
No, I'm sorry, 50 million was for, it included SNGE, SNGA, it included all of them, but the 15,486,780 was just the tribe. 1,290,500. That's the 12th. $15,486,000 what? 780.
Representative Lambert?
Are we considering that we promised our employees a 4% increase, COLA increase at the first of the year? Are we including that in with this portion too? Are we gonna have to make that retroactive and give them back pay, or how, have we considered that with this? If we're doing a 12th of the 22 budget, then that doesn't include that increase.
22 didn't include the increase, but we made those adjustments per budget to get through because there was no appropriation for that 6%. So that's what we had to do at the time in everyone's budget, was make those adjustments. And this will go for all entities across the board that was approved tonight, because their approval was approved, but it was to be incorporated into the 2023 comprehensive budget. So are their budgets approved as is, even if they're not? I don't believe that's how it works.
And for clarification, Chief, is it 4% or 6% on the increase?
It was 6% last year in September when the council approved that.
So, and then did we have another one for this year? Didn't we have another increase this year as well? Is that right, Chief Coleman? Did we have a new increase? We didn't have a new increase that was starting with this year.
I think what you're going to have to do is if indeed the council passes it passes it at that particular time.
Okay.
And then, obviously, it can go retroactive because it was supposed to begin October 1.
Okay, so the FY '23 budgets did not include COLA increases, is that right?
No, they don't. It was effective for last year.
Okay, that's.
Chair, are you saying that if we don't do something, well, if we come back next time and for these budgets, that means we gotta go through this whole book again? I think we already passed several budgets in here that can go into effect.
I don't know that they go in effect because the resolution says that they're to be incorporated into the comprehensive budget.
Well, they're comprehensive budget.
No, it's not their comprehensive, it's this comprehensive budget.
Well, if that's the case, what are we doing sitting here? We're gonna go through the whole thing again?
No, theirs is approved. If the 23 comprehensive budget gets approved, then we move forward from there.
IT just told me, most, you all heard me anyway, but I think we have to pass 1/12 of the 50,449,872, even though certain budgets were passed tonight. They have to be passed at least for 1 month at the cap of the prior comprehensive budget. Otherwise, the new budgets are taking funds from the 1/12 of the budgets that didn't get approved, and that's unfair to those programs, departments, and personnel. So even though we passed several budgets tonight, if we're going to go on a continuing resolution for 1/12, I believe they have to be capped at the prior amount. That's just math and not really AG advice. Well, kind of AG advice, but. I believe the amount is 1/12 of 50,449,872, and my math, $50,449,872 divided by 12 is $4,204,156. Check me, it's late.
I thought she said we were dividing the 15 for the, not the 50.
I believe we have to divide the 50 because the programs, even the programs that were passed tonight, they were supposed to be incorporated into the comprehensive budget. And if we do not divide the larger number by 1/12, the programs that were approved tonight will be taking funding from other programs that were not approved tonight. And that is not how this should work.
Okay, everybody understand?
Can you give us the total?
Chair, I've had my hand up.
We have to, we go back and pull that word comprehensive budget out of those others, and they can operate as usual. But see, the biggest thing is our, what do you call it, general fund budget. Am I correct, or am I right, or am I wrong? I don't know, maybe, like I said, it takes me a long time to add 2 and 2 together anymore.
You'd have to go amend Title 14 to make that work that way. And we don't have, we're not about to amend ordinance there.
Well, are we gonna do 1/12?
1/12 of the whole $50 million budget. That's a total tribal budget.
So you're saying it's gonna be all total, table?
No,
That's what you're saying?
no.
Yeah, if one part of the budget over here is tabled, so you're saying everything else is tabled until
That's
such
not what I'm
time we
saying.
pass this one over here.
What she's saying is that the comprehensive budget is what it is in tribal law.
You're muddying the water. We need to get this over with. It's getting tired.
If I said tabled, I misspoke. I meant capped, more or less. So for 1 month, they're going to be operating at a lower budget than was probably passed tonight. Some of them had flat budgets and some of them did not have budget increases. So it may not, it's 1 month.
Can you give us the total amount again?
$4,204,156. $4,204,156. Someone please check my math. Thank you, Representative Deathridge.
You guys got it.
Chair?
Representative Borba?
Yes, instead of doing a 112 budget, can't we just continue this until our next general council meeting, or like November 1st? I know you said you're going to have one the 15th, but can we just continue it until November 1st or the next council meeting?
I think Representative Shaw, picked 112 because it's something that's been done, prior, and I think everyone understands what that is. And you can come up with a specific figure, as the Attorney General came up, of the total comprehensive budget, which includes all the entities of the Seminole Nation, the umbrella entities, along with the tribal government. So that covers it all. I think as far as everybody understands that, I think we can make it until the next council meeting. Bring it back then. Representative Pittman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have a motion on the floor,
Yeah.
and so.
And then
Unless
he
she
asked
amends her motion.
for a friendly amendment of 112. That's understood. That's what was doing all these figures. It's up to you to accept it or not.
I'll accept the 112, so we can get this going.
How about the second to the motion? You accept the 112 as well? Who seconded the original motion? I thought it was you, Ms. Borba. It was you, Ms. Watkins? I think it was Ms. Borba. Okay, you accept the 112? Okay. That's where we're at. The total that was just read out of the total 50 million by 112. Representative Coleman? Oh, okay. Representative Fixico, Adam, can you get our microphone over there? Chief Palmer, thank you.
If we don't pass this, there are programs that will hurt, because it is in the comprehensive budget. We got to pass it. Some of our programs won't work. So if you think about it, we're the council people. If that's what you want to our programs, we will table it. I don't want to, though. I feel like our people need to work. If we do that, they are hurt. We are hurt. Because that's our programs. We're supposed to be working together. Every time I table something, we lose it. That's what I think. But I'm speaking up for those programs because the people need to work. We won't have nothing. It will stop. So you need to think about it and pass this comprehensive budget.
Representative Fixico, that's what we're doing, is a fix until we meet again. So that's what we're working on right now. So there's a motion and a second. There was a friendly amendment requested. That friendly amendment was accepted, so it becomes a part of the original motion. So that's where we're at. Does everyone understand what we're voting for? We're voting for 112 continuation, okay? They gave the total, $4 million some odd dollars, the total $50 million total comprehensive budget. So that's where we're at. No other questions? Thank you for your comments, Representative Fixico. Secretary, call the roll.
Leota Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narkemy,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman,
Yes.
Terry Edwards,
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nancy Pixico, Tamara Downey,
Yes.
Leon Pete,
Yes.
Joseph Billy,
Yes.
Dolores Harjo,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Ann Borba,
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert,
Yes.
Lottie Cootie,
Yes.
Ella Coleman,
Yes.
Shirley Watkins,
Yes.
Tiffany Thomas,
Yes.
Wayne Shaw,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Tiffany Cully,
Yes.
Danita Harjo,
Yes.
Willis Dethridge. 25 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain.
With a count of 25 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstention, I declare that continuation at 1/12 of the budget to have passed for all entities and the tribal government. So at this time, if we would stand, I'm going to ask Representative Edwards to say the prayer. And as Representative Shaw said, remember Representative Coleman in your prayer as she continues to grieve and bereavement. Also, we had word that Houston Tigers' son, a few days, has left this walks of life. They'll be having a funeral Friday. So remember that family in your prayers as well. Thank you, Representative Edwards.
So once again, dear Lord, we pray for all those who are in attendance, dear Lord. We pray for traveling grace, dear Lord. We would also like to pray for all those who are in bereavement, dear Lord. We pray that you would look over them and bless them and strengthen them and give them guidance, dear Lord. Not only them, dear Lord, we pray for ourselves that we may be stronger and better Christians, dear Lord, that we may be more knowledgeable about the things that we are encountering, dear Lord. And we also ask for strength and guidance and that we could be better councilmen and better leaders and better tribesmen. Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. We are adjourned if there's no objections. 9:13.